Most first-time visitors make the same mistake in Montenegro. They see Kotor, take a boat ride, and leave. That quick side trip can make them miss the mountains, lakes, national parks, scenic drives, and unforgettable coastal towns. In this updated Montenegro travel guide, we're taking you beyond Kotor, from Perast and the Bay of Kotor to Durmitor, Lake Skadar to the Blue Cave.
Is Montenegro on your bucket list? Well, it should be, and today we're going to cover 5 places that you cannot miss when you visit Montenegro.
Montenegro is a country that surprised us. Located just south of Croatia, it is just as beautiful but far less visited than its busier neighbor.
Yeah, with its amazing national parks, great drives, as well as history, culture, and beaches, it's no wonder that Montenegro is one of our favorite countries.
First up is Kotor. This is a beautiful setting where Elizabeth Taylor and Sophia Loren used to hang out and play with the stars. The Bay of Kotor is one of the most beautiful places I have ever seen. The huge sea cliffs that surround this calm bay make for a tranquil vacation that you'll never forget.
If you combine that with the well-preserved old city and the old city walls, you have a destination that you don't want to miss.
The old city of Kotor is considered one of the best preserved medieval cities in all of the Balkans, and it's worth spending a day just exploring, checking out its cafes, and doing some window shopping.
We based ourselves just north of Kotor at the Palazzo Radomiri in Dobrota, which was a perfect location where we were just a little bit out of the city to avoid the craziness of it all, but a beautiful 20-minute stroll or bike ride down the promenade and you're in this legendary city.
The hotel gave us bicycles to ride for free, and they offered some locks so that we could just go around and explore the city in our own time. There aren't really any beaches in the Kotor area, but all of the beaches are like private decks, which is even better because you don't have to worry about any sand. You just can sit on the nice, clean concrete and then jump in the crystal clear water.
Durmitor National Park is another place you cannot miss when you come to Montenegro.
Who doesn't love mixing a beach vacation with a rugged outdoor adventure? And there are so many things you can do. You can go to Terra Bridge and walk across. You can do some zip lining. You can go kayaking. You can go hiking. It's truly spectacular.
Now, we based ourselves right in Durmitor National Park in Zabjak at a place called Hotel Soa. This was a perfect location because it was basically right on the edge of Black Lake, which is a very famous hike that you can do there. And we do recommend you do this. It takes about 2.5 to 3 hours to walk around 2 lakes, and it is something that is out of a postcard.
This is a great full day that you can spend out at the beach, take a boat tour, and do some hiking around the 5 different lakes that are in this park. So it's a great way to spend a day. There are other lakes that you can go out and visit as well. We drove out to some lakes that were just outside of the city, but you can take an Uber or a bus out. And when you're out there, you want to do a circle loop that has a lot of history on it.
Yeah, it's these tombs older than 2,000 years before Christianity came to Montenegro and that area.
You can just get out and walk amongst these ancient tombstones that are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's clusters of them all throughout the land. It just feels like you're in fields or farmland, but it's actually an incredible historic site.
If you happen to visit this area in the wintertime, it's also known for skiing. There's lots of chalets around there.
This was a great little place in Montenegro that had a little feel of a little Switzerland. Next up is Perast, located just about 20 minutes outside of Kotor, and it was our favorite place in all of Montenegro. This quiet town doesn't allow any traffic at all except for locals, so you have to park outside of town and get picked up by a golf cart, making it a really tranquil experience.
Most people visit this on a day trip from Kotor, or you can even visit it on a day trip from Dubrovnik if you like. We decided to stay there. We based ourselves at the Hotel Leon Coronado, which was right beside the church steeple there, right downtown. I do recommend at least spending one night there because walking around after everybody has left, all the day trippers are gone, and you can walk around and have a beautiful dinner right on the seaside there. You don't want to miss that. It's an incredible experience.
It has beaches and boat tours and fantastic shopping and dining. One of the most popular attractions is Our Lady of the Rocks Island, island that you can take a water taxi out to for just €5.
It's a really interesting island that was actually, it's a man-made island that was built by sinking ships full of rocks, and they built a church on top of there.
It is a beautiful place to go out to and look back at the city of Perast and really see the gorgeous scenery of the Bay of Kotor.
I do recommend if you go there, if you want to go inside the church that is on that small island. It costs €3 at the time that we were there to go in, and there's lots of artifacts and paintings and things inside. But really, it's the view from inside and up on the top of the church that is the attraction. You can actually reach the view without paying if you go around the back of the church. It allows you to walk up, but doesn't allow you to enter the church itself.
And there are some beautiful viewpoints if you walk up throughout the city and some old ruins as well. There's a lot to see and do in Perast, or you can just simply stay on the beach, do some swimming, some kayaking, and just relax in the sun.
We do recommend getting a car when you're in Montenegro because it's a great way to explore parts of the country that you wouldn't otherwise get to. A lot of people don't make it up north to Durmitor National Park, but we do highly recommend this. It's a completely different scene than being down on the Bay of Kotor. And we actually drove from Sarajevo over to Zavjak and spent a couple days there exploring Durmitor National Park. Now, one of the things we really loved about this was the drive. There's a drive along a road called P14 that goes from Pugin to Zavjak. It's a very windy, basically one-lane road. It's a bit of an adventurous drive, but the views are unmatched, absolutely beautiful, and you really do feel like you're driving above the clouds.
This is one of the most beautiful road trips we have ever taken, and it took us a full day to really experience it. It goes through the Terra Canyon area, and this is one of the deepest canyons in all of Europe.
But I will say, if you are going to do that drive, make sure you give yourself plenty of time. There's lots of sort of pull-offs because it is basically a 1.5 lane road. It is paved all the way, so you don't have to worry about too bad rough roads or anything like that, but you are going to encounter traffic coming both ways.
There are places that you can get out and go for hikes and take in even more views. They set up some great lookouts that even have some picture frames where you can set up your own picture-perfect photograph. One piece of advice I give you, if you are not comfortable driving, we do not recommend driving this road. It can be dangerous. It can be very congested. There are times when you will have to back up to let another car go and you're on the edge of a mountain. So I'm just warning you, if you don't have a lot of experience driving, I would hire someone to take you or go on a tour instead.
One of Montenegro's hidden gems is Lake Skadar, the largest freshwater lake in the Balkans. We took a drive south to see this lake that is shared between Montenegro and Albania. The former royal getaway is now a nature lover's dream. You can stay at Lake Skadar and go hiking or enjoy a boat tour on the lake to explore the wetlands. The lake is also home to an impressive variety of wildlife, including 260 bird species, 50 types of fish, and a few local snakes.
No trip to Montenegro would be complete without getting on the water.
Yes, we did ours out of Kotor, and it combined a visit to the Blue Cave along with the submarine tunnels, which were something I didn't really know much about, but wow, were they impressive.
During our trip on the submarine tunnels, we went by them and I said to Dave, they seem like James Bond. And then when we came back and actually went inside, our guide told us that Casino Royale used these tunnels.
These from James Bond movie, Casino Royale, were filmed in these tunnels.
Back during the war, Yugoslavia made these tunnels to park their submarines in and hide inside. They were camouflaged.
Yeah, and on this tour, you get to drive right in, right to the very end. So you get the idea of exactly just how large and long these tunnels are. And they're basically completely left untouched from the war. The only thing they've done is just opened up the camouflage so that you can actually get inside.
Another one of the great experiences is going to the Blue Caves. If you have never seen Blue Caves before, these are fascinating.
Yeah, it is kind of like another James Bond moment, right? You're inside these caves and basically the reflections of the blue water up onto the tops and the walls of the cave gives you this feeling of being surrounded by this bioluminescence blue. It really is a really cool feeling. We also took in Herzegovina and all these different little small towns all along the Bay of Kotor. And really, to admire the beauty of those, the best way to see it is from the water. Now, if you do decide to take the boat tour out to the Blue Caves, which I highly recommend you do, just know that if you take one like us, we went on a rather small boat, that it can get kind of choppy when you get out into the Mediterranean. So if you do get a little seasick or something like that, maybe opt for a larger boat or just pop a seasickness pill and you'll be good.
And we have a link in the description below because we booked it through Get Your Guide. And if you're taking a boat trip, you might want to stop and see Sveti Stefan. This was a private island that Elizabeth Taylor stayed at, and it is amazing to see. You cannot go on the island though unless you're staying there, so you might want to see it by boat.
So those are our top places not to miss when you visit Montenegro.
Have you been to Montenegro? Are there any places that we need to visit when we go back?
So make sure to leave your recommendations and your experiences in the comments below, because we want to have a conversation with you about all the destinations that we've been to around the world. Thanks for watching, and ciao for now.
Time.